about what it's like to watch the young Michael from the streets of San Francisco. And what strikes me is, as I've been reflecting on your career, the chemistry that you had, right? On the spot, right there with Karl Malden. At the time, he had already done 52 movies and won an Oscar. And you were the rookie in both senses. And I see that chemistry with Alan Arkin. You can see it with Matt Damon. How does that play out in your acting?
Well, I think you said the key, which was Karl Malden. And I was fortunate in the beginning of my career to work with one of the greatest supporting actors, because mind you, Karl's career throughout all the years he worked with Marlon Brando and all the people that worked with him, he was a supporting actor, and everybody wanted to work with him. Why? Because he made everybody else look good. He knew that it was as important for him as for everybody else to be as good as they possibly can. So when I took on this role, I was sort of the second banana on those TV shows. And normally back then on those TV shows, the second lead was sort of in soft focus, about 1.5 feet behind the lead. You know, because those ends, the focal lens, they couldn't carry it. So, and Karl was the first guy, and maybe the second year of the series, to say, come on, come here, come on up. Yeah. And he put me up there, and he let me direct a couple of the shows. And he taught me from the very basis about a work ethic. Because mind you, we were doing 26-hour shows a year on location in San Francisco, which meant a 6 days a week schedule. So we worked 8.5 months straight up there on location with a new director each week, new guest stars. So working with Karl, who, because of the scripts and the pressure, wanted to have next week's script delivered to him before he started that week's script. So every time we had a break between lining assignments, we would go run our lines upcoming. So as a result, for the writers, they hated us. They hate us because the scripts ended up having to be 6 pages longer because we picked up our cues. And because we knew how to say it. So that became the signal, for guest stars coming up. So you better be on your toes. These guys, you know, they're so. We created a quality of level that I will be eternally grateful to for my entire career to Karl.
It strikes me as so unusual that the son of a Hollywood legend becomes a Hollywood legend himself. What is the secret sauce, do you think, in the way that you were able to avoid the pitfall of following someone so grand in his shadows?
That's a good question, Jujoy. You know, it's surprisingly few second-generation kids that have worked out. You can kind of count them on one hand. I think the biggest problem, of course, is that, you know, genetically there's going to be similarities between your mother or your father. And I know when I first started, and I talked about it a little bit in that clip, you know, you would talk to somebody, oh, that's just like your dad. Oh, that's just like your father. Right. Oh, thank you very much. You know,
yeah.
Exactly.
I'm my own guy
yeah, what's going on here? And so I think I was fortunate enough, again, from the producing background, to understand about material, about good parts, good characters, and I think that helped me. Saying that, Kirk, my dad, had a very similar kind of arc where his first 8 or 9 pictures, he played the sensitive young man in roles, and it wasn't until 1950 when he did a movie called The Champion, where he was nominated for an Oscar, and he played a bad guy, that he really got the attention, and that kind of created that that persona that carries on. So, and I look back, and to me, it was really Wall Street, you know, in a lot of ways. It sort of changed my arc.
The other thing that's so fabulously unusual about you is that you're married to someone who is equally successful in your field. You're both Oscar winners. I mean, where do you keep your Oscars? I don't even know. And in researching, I read a quote from her, I hope it's true, from IMDb. She said, "I was in love with my husband at first sight and still am. We have the most solid relationship." And I think your relationship is real to the sense that we all know in a real marriage, there's what marriage therapist once told me is normal marital hatred. He said, I don't ever have to explain that to anybody who's married. But how do you navigate the two careers? Is there ever any professional rivalry? Do you conflict your schedules?
I'm not competing for her parts.
What's the most important thing that you know now that you perhaps didn't know when you were starting out?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like,
The most important thing I know now, it's, well, when you start out, I mean, it's like you tell your kids, you rush everything. You're in a hurry. You know, everything's about ambition. So if you're not careful, you don't really cherish that moment or that time, and next thing you wake up and it's 50 years later, and you go, whoa, what happened? So I guess the thing is to try to, and if I look back, I wish, just because my memory is so bad, I wish I kept a diary. I wish I'd kept a log, a little more sense of a reminder. I mean, I use my appointment notes to some degree. But I think you rush along, and then when you reach an age when you like it to slow down, it's too late, and it's going along. So.
And when you look back on the 50 years that have gone by so fast, what do you look back on? What are the things, either professionally or in your life, that you look back as the thing you're proud of?
Well, I think you said I'm really happy with my batting average. You know, I got pretty good batting average.
That's good.
I'm
You're like the Derek Jeter of Hollywood.
50
Got on base
years,
a
and I'm
lot.
still here. You know,
Yeah.
and there he is. Every few years you're popping up. So I'm pretty proud about that.